Alright, I got something a little special today. So I'm going to be making, or trying to make, fluid art with crayons. Now, this doesn't look like crayons, does it? Well, it is. What I did was, I just took my colors here, and I took a cheese grater and sheet of parchment paper, and I just grated the colors that I wanted down into these little shavings here. And the reason I did that, two reasons, kind of. First reason being, it's going to heat up a lot quicker, so it's going to melt a lot quicker because there's more surface area for the heat to get to, and so it's going to melt a lot quicker. But also, I did it like this because I kind of, I don't want to do this in the traditional way, because you see a lot of people, they'll take a torch and a crayon and just kind of go all around with it. I don't want to do it that way. I want to kind of lay out a pattern, you know, a rough pattern. Nothing too intricate, but just kind of a pattern with the colors, and then hit it with the heat. Now, it would kind of be ideal to use the heat gun for the heat source initially on this, but the problem is these little bits are so light that even on the lowest setting of my heat gun, they're just going to blow around everywhere. So, at least initially, I'm going to use a torch. Obviously, since this is a canvas, I want to be careful not to scorch the canvas, but I'm just going to hit it with a torch to melt the wax. And then maybe once it's melted and kind of on there and not blowing away anywhere, then I can finish with the heat gun, you know, go back over it and get it nice and melty and get it looking good. So first I'm just going to go ahead and I don't really know what I want to do with this. I'm just kind of, I think what I might want to do is kind of like a striped thing, like a diagonal stripe thing. So I'm gonna kind of aim for that, and we'll see how that works for me. I really like these colors that I've got here. I really think they go together well. Green is my favorite color, as you can see. But it's nice to throw some blues in there too, and some gold and some of the silver. These are quote-unquote metallic crayons, but since they're a really cheap brand, these are not the Crayola brand. They're just a cheap Dollar Tree no-name brand. I don't know how well they're going to perform, how easy they'll melt, and how good they'll look. Will it actually look metallic? I don't know. We'll see. So I'm just kind of doing this little pattern here. And we're going to see how that turns out. Hopefully good. And you can probably hear the apartment landscaping crew in the background, right on time, every time I film a video. Just about. That's what happens when I film on Thursdays. I do know, you know, the lawn people do typically come on Thursday, so you'd think I would plan it out a little better, but it's funny how they're not out there mowing though until I start the video. Guess that's how it goes. This already kind of looks cool on its own. Almost like a sand art kind of thing. But again, hopefully once I start melting this wax, we'll have a really nice pattern. And I don't necessarily anticipate it staying this pattern. Once it gets all melty and liquidy, it's probably going to flow all around the place. And that's fine. I do want some variety here. I'm kind of avoiding the edges, though I know I really shouldn't be too shy with the edges because I do want those to get covered. Just kind of avoiding the edges because I don't want to spill so much of my little granules of wax. Alright, let's hit it with the torch. And initially all I'm doing right now is trying to get those flakes melted together. I really don't like the idea of holding a torch to a canvas like this, but it might be the only way I'm going to be able to do this. I feel like this is going to take forever though, so I might switch to the heat gun here soon. Because I got too much heat in too small an area with the torch, and I just really don't like that. So yeah, I'm going to switch to the heat gun. Lowest, you put it on the highest heat, but the lowest blowing. Yeah, it's blowing around. Gotta keep it high because it's blowing everywhere. Yeah, let's not do that. This is trickier than I thought it would be. I need a good uniform heat source that doesn't blow everywhere. We'll just torch it up, I guess. At least until those little bits are melted enough to where they're not blowing everywhere. Now, this looks god-awful right now, but with a little luck, if I can get that heat gun going on it good, and not have to worry so much about the little bits blowing everywhere, then we'll be in good shape. Wow. My torch locked up on me, so I'm going to switch to a different torch. This is a bigger one anyway. Looking at this, I should be able to hit it with the heat gun by now, I would hope. Perhaps this is too big, I don't know. The heat's dispersing a lot quicker than I would want it to. I think we got it there. You just gotta heat it up as you go. Starting to get something here. I don't believe I used enough wax though. I'm hoping all this heat doesn't do any damage to the canvas as well. Because obviously then it'll maybe warp the whole thing, I don't know. Again, the edges are kind of an issue here. But maybe I can pretty them up somehow. But aside from that, it is kind of looking interesting. Get all this melted down real good. Then I want to kind of remelt all this stuff that's settled, so maybe we can tilt a little bit. I don't know. I don't think I can really heat it enough all at one time to get a good flow. So I'm going to tilt as I run the heat gun. And that's working for me a bit here. Cover a little more there. I guess the trick is to heat the outer border here and then tilt it while still heating it. This smells, it's not a great smell. It's not a horrendous smell, but it doesn't smell too great, this melting wax. Alright, so now let's tilt this way. Hard time getting that corner there. This is taking a lot longer than I thought it would too. Had this been a regular, just an acrylic pour, I mean, I'd already be done by now. Easily. I'm not super worried about exposed canvas here. I think that could just add to the aesthetics of everything, but I am going to cover that part. Trying to get the corners, and it's actually quite difficult. I'm going to try letting these meld together a little bit. Give it a little bit more randomness. So see, we've ended up not really looking a whole lot like the original pattern at all. And I figured that would be the case. Got some scalding hot wax on my pinky right now, and it doesn't feel too great. Other than that, I think, you know, I can touch it up with some of that wax and the torch. First, I think I'm going to really hit it with the blower. I'm kind of crazy with it there. Now, I am going to sprinkle some silver in here. I was hoping that would have melted on contact. That would have been kind of cool, but it didn't. So I'm going to torch this silver. Try and cover those corners. They really don't want to be covered, it looks like, but Pull the heat gun back out. Killing me here with these corners. Ah. And the edges here are quite caked on. Not sure what I'm going to do about that. I scald my fingers by, or maybe it would be smarter to use a popsicle stick. I'll scrape it off as I go here. Yeah, that should be good. Alright, so I think that's good. I don't want to spend like 5 hours just trying to get everything perfect. It's quite thick in some areas. There is some texture, it looks like here, which is great because that's kind of what I was wanting. It was kind of my whole point behind wanting to try the crayon melting thing, is to get some texture along with the colors. So I'm going to let this cool off. I'm going to give it about an hour just, you know, to be safe. Let it cool off, and then we'll kind of take a look at it and see, see what I could maybe do with it. Alright, well, it's cooled off. I mean, it looks cool. You can see, I don't know if the camera can see it, but I can see the crayons were in fact fairly metallic. I probably could have mixed some mica powder in with each color and really brought out the metallic nature, but all in all it's fine. The edges are pretty dirty, but I can do something about that. I can, honestly, it's crayon, so a piece of paper could work as sandpaper for for this. Though I'll probably take a some sort of metal blade, like a spatula or something, and heat it up and just go along the sides there. Now something like this, as you can see, the way I did this was not very practical. Maybe there are some better ways I could have gone about it, but it was pretty time consuming. Don't get me wrong, it looks good, but quite time consuming when you consider, though the actual work is time consuming, but within like a half hour it's cooled down and it's done, it's ready to go. So unlike an acrylic pour, you don't have to wait a couple days for it to be fully dry and blah blah blah. So with this though, I would recommend not leaving it as is, especially if you've got it on a canvas, which is flexible. If you flex this around too much, it will crack and crumble because it's just wax. So what I would suggest, if you're going to do something like this, or really any kind of crayon art like this, melted crayon kind of stuff on a canvas, I would go over it with resin. I would coat it real good with resin on the top. I do plan on, sometime in the future, I do plan on doing a video on how to apply resin to an acrylic painting. I may or may not throw this in that video too, but anyways, you want to cover it with resin. You want to cover it with something nice and hard and strong. With that said, also, I would kind of double down on that. So not only cover the surface and the sides with epoxy resin, but also after that's cured, I would probably flip it over and hit the back with a good layer of epoxy resin just to give it some extra stability. Because if this bends too much, that wax is going to crack off of there. It'll probably peel right off. But anyway, I mean, I guess this is a doable thing. With a little more practice, I could probably make something that looks a lot better, and I could probably get it down to maybe 15 minutes instead of 20-something minutes that it took to do this whole thing. Yeah, I kind of wish, I do feel like a better method that I'd like to try and organize and figure out a way to do it would be to just liquefy a whole bunch of these and keep them heated and keep them liquefied. That would require like a metal cup of some sort. I've got 3 of these, so I could really only do that with 3 colors with what I've got now, but I could maybe find some more little metal cups and maybe try that method to where I have it sitting on a hot plate or something and it's heating the metal cup and keeping them melted. So then I could do like actual, like an actual pour, maybe even like a flip cup kind of thing or whatever, something more in the vein of like actual acrylic pouring. But this method worked, more or less. Again, a few kinks to iron out, maybe use more wax in the future. And yeah, just start out with the torch until things get melted enough, or then go over it with the heat gun. So yeah, totally doable. Sorry it's yet again been quite a while since I posted a video. Work has been pretty hectic. Today's actually the only day off I have this week until next Wednesday, and I haven't had a day off since last Thursday, so worked 8 days in a row, and gonna have to work another 6 days in a row, something like that. Friday, Saturday, whatever. So yeah, it's been kind of hectic. I'm trying. I would like to get to the format of 1 long form video per week and also 1 short per week, which will probably be something like acrylic pouring, something I can fit into a minute long or so video. That's my goal, but we'll see how that goes. Anyway, that's it. Hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you next time.